get to this because Chris Wyndham, thank you for the super chat. He asked real quick, what does Wilfried think of 2-channel only music? So, what do you think of
that?
Oh, he's getting choked up now.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
What? So do you prefer 2-channel, or do you naturally
just
up mix it to Auro 3D?
No, in fact, I am going to be very honest here. Yeah, I'm raised up with music in stereo, of course. As a kid, I was only knowing stereo. Yeah, I was not really knowing the period from mono anymore. It was already my father had a fantastic stereo installation, so and vinyl and all that kind of stuff. So I was born in stereo. And then when I was 16 or 17 years old, I heard for the first time quadraphonic sound, and I was so impressed about it. I said, "Wow, that's another dimension." And it's true, it's another dimension. And I couldn't wait, because I felt that kind of extra interesting spatial information coming to us. So I couldn't wait that surround sound was coming to be used in music. So when CD came to the market, I was hoping that quadraphonic CD was coming soon. Yeah, It didn't happen. And then finally, when I heard DVD came on the market, then I said, this is the moment. And that's the moment when I built the studio. That's the moment I said, now is the moment. Yeah. At least it is not a good quality. It's AC3 and things like that. But that is, let's say, at least we have the ability to create that
something
kind
to work with.
Something to work with. And the moment, because I knew 5.1, in fact, in the beginning, only from cinema. But what I found is very interesting, the following. In cinema, you have to that array of speakers, you have more a diffuse field. And that sounded to me more natural than, let's say, having discrete 5.1, because these 2 channels in the back were like, they were like, okay, they were taking subconsciously my attention, and you didn't have that kind of nice spread. Okay, we worked with deep dipole speakers and all that kind of stuff to create that kind of same experience. Because, of course, in cinema, you have the disadvantage. It creates this kind of phasing issues in this array. So the question was, how can we create a more natural sound? And then it is more by coincidence I came in contact with someone who was putting height, and there's, oh wow, and that was, of course, for me the eye opener. And then I added this not only top height but the back height on top of a 5.1. And then the most impressive moment in my life was the moment when I did my first recordings in Auro 9.1, 5.1 and 4, and the emotional component, that was for me the big difference. That was a tenfold from what I was used to hear. And honestly, I just last week I was doing here the Bernie Dressel. Do you know the guys from UK, from LA? Bernie Dressel, he's the big band. These are the top big band players in the world.
Gotcha.
They were flying over last week here to mix their recording here in fact, I was mixing the recording myself in Auro 3D, and at a certain moment, just to give you the expression, because you feel the big band, you feel the music, you feel the whole dynamic stuff and so much more detail. You're like in that music, But then you still have to do that boring part to deliver a stereo mix.
The boring part.
And exactly that is what's happening. And I tell you honestly, this is the feel that we all have. Okay, let's still do this. And this was the fun part now. Now we have to do the real stuff, because most of the people still will hear it in this way. So we have to treat them with respect. So we have to create now from a fantastic thing something which is still very good.
So you start
fantastic
with
to very good.
Yes.
You start with that, and then you work your way down to.
That's I think one of the major advantages of, let's say, Auro 3D. We have that channel-based workflow for music. We can add object-based. We have object-based. We use it in broadcast and things, because in Auro Max we have it. It's not a question that we don't have this technology. Point is, does it fit our? Let's say, what does it create extra? Nothing. Especially not in the music. I do not see immediately where you can use it. Okay, our competitors, they use the technology because they use it to add height. In our format, we don't need that, and it has a lot of advantages. One of the advantages as well, that we can do the mastering process in the traditional way that is being done. A lot of people don't know, but if you have, like, say, the whole workflow goes from recording, mixing, mastering. And that mastering process is very important, especially in the pop music. That's the place where they're, let's say, they are going to try to make a coherent sound feel, blending with all the tracks, compression techniques to bring it more out of the speakers. All that kind of stuff happens in the mastering studios, and they're like really top mastering engineers, yeah, and they can do still exactly the same as they did in their stereo 5.1 channel based version, yeah, which is of course a completely different way of working with our competitors format. They have a workaround, but it's much more complex, yeah. So let's say
I
from
want to hear about that. What is that? How does that work? How do you think that works?
Yeah, you have to see. Let's say I explained in the previous version what object-based and channel-based, how does it work? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, in channel-based environment, you can create all your compression things and EQ things, and you control it. Yeah, and then you know your result, and everything about compressing is in that result. But the moment when your trunk of objects and your beds, the channels are separate, yeah, you can perhaps do that creation in the mastering control. But what happens at the renderer's place, where you have more speakers, how to calibrate all the kind of stuff, it will be a completely different thing. So the renderer from an object-based format at playback can never reproduce that, let's say, the process that they do in the mastering process. It's just not possible. It's physically not possible. It is so complex you can just not do it. So they have to they try to create certain workarounds now to have that kind of let's say similar control, but it's not the same.
Mm.
Yeah.
Now I have another